All right, we have knocked off the A's, we've knocked off the B's, we're now moving on to the C's, which brings us to the Chicago Cubs. For some reason, the Chicago White Sox seem to fall alphabetically on the list ahead of that. I think it just goes AL, NL, like whenever you get to New York and Chicago, but we're going to go with the Chicago Cubs. And so we're going to start off this list with the players that didn't make the list, but probably had the hype and the potential to be on the list. And I'm going to give you those reasons, like I said in my previous video, the reasons why I did not include those players on this list. I know this is going to be the part where you guys watch this and you say, man, that guy is crazy. But the two players I left off this list are actually people that at the beginning of the year, and some may still put as number 1 and number 2 in the Cubs minor league system. That first player is going to be Christian Hernandez. And talent-wise and hype-wise, Hernandez came with big expectations and did not disappoint, homering in his very first stateside at bat. But he will probably still need a lot of adjustment to life here in the States and to the increasing levels of pitching as he moves up through the farm system. As a 17-year-old in the Dominican Republic, he had drawn a lot of comparisons to A-Rod and to Manny Machado, but so far he has put together a respectable .266 batting average, but he's only hit 3 home runs and 124 at-bats. I think with a year or two under his belt, he will make his way up to the top of this list, but for now I'm leaving him off of the top 10 as he still has a lot of adjustment and growing to do. And that other player is going to be Brennan Davis. Davis is by far the most talented position player in the Cubs minor league system. However, has not played a game since May 3rd and has been out due to back surgery for lingering back soreness. If he can come back, no pun intended, at the end of the season as hoped, and he can show off some of that talent, he will be back atop this list in no time. Back issues have been a real concern for players in the past, although a little older players, so he does have youth on his side, like David Wright or Mike Trout or even now Anthony Rizzo, just to name a few. We will have to wait and see if he has any lingering effects from that soreness and surgery before we place the crown back on top of his head. Number 10 on this list is going to be Tyler Santana. He's in single A. He is a starting pitcher / reliever. He's 6'1", 205, and he's 24 years old. Those 2022 minor league stats are 86 2/3 innings pitched. He's 9-1 with a 2.28 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP. He's also had 1 save and he's got 86 strikeouts. That chase card on him is going to be nothing. He's got a minor league card, but as I always say, don't go chasing minor cards. And don't worry, I won't be singing that at the end of this video or anything. That was a one-time deal, so hopefully you saw that video. Santana was recently named July's Carolina League Player of the Month, going 27 1/3 innings with 1.32 ERA, 24 strikeouts, and only walking 7 in the month. His ERA in college was a bit unnerving at 4.66, but since being signed by the Cubs has displayed a sterling 2.11 ERA in 31 games over 2 seasons. He seems to pitch a little better at home, enjoying those home-cooked meals and producing a 1.79 ERA. And he retires both lefties and righties at a pretty good clip, although lefties even slightly better than that. He has started his last 4 games and pitched well, going 24 innings, striking out 28, and giving up only 4 earned runs. The Cubs would love to stretch him out as a viable starter, reminding them of a West Side Story, but Santana's been smooth so far as a starter or in the pen. Look for the Cubs to continue to play the game of love with Santana, starting as long as he's finding success. And that is enough of the Carlos Santana innuendos. Number 9 on this list is going to be Kevin Alcantara. He is in single A. He is a center fielder / right fielder. He is 6'6", 188 pounds, and he is 20 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are hitting .264 with 12 home runs, 73 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, an .804 OPS, and 341 at-bats. That chase card on him is going to be a 2021 Bowman Chrome Auto, and it goes about $75 to $85. Alcantara came over from the Yankees as a big piece of the Anthony Rizzo trade and has lived up to every expectation so far. He has solid power, drives in runs, and has above average speed. Alcantara is tall, standing 6'6", and at only 188 pounds, has plenty of frame to pack on a few more pounds of muscle. Could you imagine an outfield of Stanton, Judge, and Alcantara had he stayed with the Yankees? Forget Angels in the outfield, more like Giants in the outfield. All right, that was horrible. I admit it. He should pack on more muscle as he gets used to a better strength and conditioning program, but that may affect his speed a little bit with that extra weight on there. If he can put on another 20 pounds or so, though, none of that's going to matter for his future. The swing is there, and so is just about every other tool in his arsenal. He just needs some time and training to find the full capacity and make his way easily into the Cubs outfield. Number 8 on this list is going to be Porter Hodge. He's in high A. He's a starting pitcher. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, and he's 21 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are 84 to third innings pitched. He's 5-2 with a 2.67 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP, and 112 strikeouts. That chase card on him is going to be nada. It's a minor league card. Don't go after it. You might be asking yourself the same question that the Cubs did this winter at their spring training complex. Who the hell is this guy? Porter shaved off 20 pounds this past year and came into the season with an even better slider. It was already pretty good, and added a little zip to his fastball, averaging 93.5 miles an hour this season. He also mixes in a little bit of curve, but kind of just for show. In April, he put together a 1.56 ERA in 17 1/3 innings pitched and struck out 21 batters. He had a bumpy May, but has started putting it all back together since then, giving up only 4 earned runs total in his last 5 starts. With that slider, which is probably the best in their system, and the extra speed on his fastball, look for the Cubs to try to stretch him out and move him up to Double-A pretty soon. Number 7 is Luis Devers. He's in high A. He's a starting pitcher / reliever, 6'3", 178 pounds, and he's 22 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are 93 innings pitched. He's 11-3 with a 1.94 ERA, a .95 WHIP, and 96 strikeouts. That chase card on him, just like a lot of these guys so far, is a minor league card, so you'll just have to wait around for it. Devers was the Cubs' May minor league pitcher of the month, going 4-1 with a 1.48 ERA and striking out 28 batters in 24 1/3 innings. Devers pitched great in Single A in 2022 with a 2.54 ERA in 15 games, but has really flourished since moving up to high A, showing off a minuscule .34 ERA in 6 games. The strikeouts have fallen off a little with the call-up, but he has cut down on his walks and is getting people out, allowing only a 148 batting average since the move. If he can continue to keep hitters off the bases and can grow even more as a starter, working on controlling his pitches, he will find his way further up the system before 2022 ends. He has thrown both in the pen and as a starter, so look for the Cubs to use him in the best spot to display his talents. Number 6 is one of those players that I most want to keep an eye on in this organization, and that is Pete Crow Armstrong. He's in high A, he plays left field, he's 6 foot, 184, and he's 20 years old. His 2022 minor league stats is batting .309 with 14 home runs, 43 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, and a .911 OPS and 304 at-bats. That chase card on him is going to be a 2020 Bowman Chrome Auto Refractor. I think he only has a Refractor Auto in that. And it is about $230 to $250. So it is going to be on the higher end of some of these cards. Pete Crow Armstrong came over the Javi Baez trade and only played 6 minor league games before the deal. He had season-ending shoulder surgery in 2021 that only allowed him to play those 6 games. Since joining the Cubs and being back fully healthy, Crow Armstrong has shown off that talent that made him the centerpiece of that big trade deal. He has a solid line drive swing, although he can't uppercut a home run with the best of them. If you've watched any of his highlights, you can attest to that. He gets on base, he hits for power, and he has plus caliber speed. Once he gets a few more games under his belt, he will have a shot at being the #1 Cubs prospect, and he will make it to the bigs in no time. He is fun to watch, so that makes collecting his cards even more exciting. Number 5 is Matt Mervis. He's in AAA. He plays first base. He is 6'4", 225 pounds, and he's 24 years old. His 2022 minor league stats is batting .306 with 23 home runs, 88 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, a .967 OPS, and 350 at-bats. That chase card of his is not really one that I would chase, but it is about his only so far rookie auto. It is a 2020 Contenders Prospect auto, and it's about $10 to $15. Mervis was a standout at Duke, where he was a two-way player, although he only pitched 2 innings in his senior season. And Duke is not always known for its sporting talent, but it definitely helps when you think about a player's baseball IQ, or generally their IQ. He's hit 23 home runs so far this season and has gone from high A to start the year all the way up to AAA. His numbers have come down each rung that he has climbed, but his .321 on base percentage in AAA is still respectable, although not quite the .389 he had in high A. Mervis does strike out a lot, but he also walks a lot and has a great eye, which is an interesting combination. If he can cut down on those strikeouts some, maintain his high walk ratio and his great pitch recognition, and keep his home run numbers up, there will not be much stopping Mervis from a Major League Baseball debut as soon. Only Swindell and Wisdom kind of stand in his way, and both have seen their struggle so far this season. With his baseball smarts, he would be a great addition to the big league roster. Number 4 is DJ Herz. Wicka wicka. He's in Double-A. He's a starting pitcher. He's 6'2", 175 pounds, and he's 21 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are 73 2/3 innings. He's 3-2 with a 2.81 ERA, a 1.14 WHIP, and 112 strikeouts. And with him, his chase card is going to be a 2018 Leaf Perfect Game Nike All-American Auto, and it's about $10 to $15, but it's not one of those that I would usually go after. Herz was the Cubs' Vetty Hensel Award winner in 2021 and was named the Cubs' Minor League Pitcher of the Year by Major League Baseball. Herz spent the 2020 shutdown working on his pitches and finally found a changeup grip that felt comfortable for him. The development of that pitch has been a breakout for Herz, making his fastball an even greater weapon. That changeup grip is one of my favorites and was what I used later in my baseball years as my changeup grip. It's the Vulcan grip. The spin is a little different than what your typical circle change would be, but the movement is superior to that circle change. Herz brought that pitch and his high energy into the 2021 season and put up a 3.31 ERA with 131 strikeouts and only 81 2/3 innings. 2022 has been even better, with him sporting a 2.81 ERA and 112 Ks through 73 2/3 innings. The strikeouts really the only thing that are down, although very slightly, and his walks have come up a little bit as well. However, neither has translated into more runs scored, so he's been very successful. Still learning and developing his pitches, look for Herz to get even better. He's recently been called up to Double-A and is finding his way there, facing better talent. At 21 years old, he is one to keep an eye on within this organization. Number 3 is Jeremiah Estrada. He's in Triple-A. He's a relief pitcher. He's 6'1", he's 185 pounds, and he's 23 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are 42 1/3 innings pitched. He's 3-2 with a 1.49 ERA, a 1.04 WHIP, 7 saves, 4 holds, and 66 strikeouts. That chase card on him is going to be a 2016 Leaf Perfect Game Auto. There's several different variations of that you will say, but they all range about between $10 and $15. In 2017, the Cubs had huge expectations for Estrada, and he showed promise after the draft, throwing 4 games and sporting a 1.42 ERA. But in 2018, he suffered a season-ending UCL strain, and although he avoided surgery, he did lose the entire year. He returned in 2019, but only managed 3 games before he felt the twinge in his elbow and let loose a 58-foot fastball and then was removed from the game. Estrada required Tommy John surgery and missed the entire 2019 season. Then there was a shutdown in 2020, which for most players, 2020 was a complete loss. But for players like Estrada and even Herz that we talked about before, it was a blessing in disguise. Estrada got his arm back strong and healthy and has since exclusively been coming out of the bullpen. In 2021, he started 2 games, but in 2022, he's been all out of the pen. In 2021, he sported a tiny 1.57 ERA, striking out 38 batters in 23 innings. And in 2022, he's looked even better with a 1.49 ERA and striking out 66 in 42 1/3 innings. And he's had those 7 saves and those 4 holds, although I know some of y'all call holds not being a category. Estrada has always pitched well out of the bullpen and will find much success there if he can remain healthy. The Cubs have recently freed up some bullpen space in the bigs and throughout the minors, so look for Estrada to be on the radar for back-end work soon. It may take another year to prove the elbow healthy enough, but he looks great with it right now. Number 2 is Jake Slaughter. He's in Double-A. He's a third baseman. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's 25 years old. His 2022 stats are hitting .299 with 16 home runs, 57 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, and a .928 OPS and 268 at-bats. That chase card on him is a minor league card, so you just have to wait around for something to come out. Slaughter was a member of the 2018 NCAA Regional All-Tournament team at LSU and was a complete player for that solid team. He received several scholarship offers to D1 programs as a wide receiver as well, but went with baseball, which seems to be the right move. Slaughter was the Southern League Player of the Month for June, putting up a slash of 344, 423, and 689 splits during that time, giving him a 1.112 OPS for June. Slaughter has one of the easier paths to the majors, as well as Mervis did that we talked about earlier, because most of the Cubs' bigger name prospects are all mainly in the outfield. He is definitely a late bloomer, having never hit more than 4 home runs in a season or having never had an OPS over 763. But he's kind of put it all together on the field this year. His 16 home runs are nice, so is his, we'll call it, 300 batting average. But the 26 stolen bases is what kind of set him apart this season. He did steal 16 bases last season, but by getting on base more this year and by taking more opportunities to run, Slaughter has really put himself near the top of the Cubs prospect list. If he continues, look for him by season's end to be in the Cubs lineup and putting opposing pitchers in the Camel clutch or the Cobra clutch, depending on your age. That was an amazing joke for my one Sergeant Slaughter fan in my subscribers list. And number 1 on this list is Alexander Canario. He is in Double-A. He's a center fielder. He's 6'1", 165 pounds, and he's 22 years old. His 2022 minor league stats are hitting .265 with 26 home runs, 69 RBIs, and 13 stolen bases, and a .913 OPS and 344 at-bats. That chase card on him is going to be a 2019 Bowman Chrome Auto, and it runs about $40 to $50. The power has always been there for him, hitting 16 home runs in 2019 and 18 home runs in 2021. But 2022 has really been the year he's been putting it all together with the power. He also has speed to match that power with his 21 stolen bases in 2021 and his 13 stolen bases so far this season. He is one of those talented outfielders we talked about earlier, and with Brennan Davis still out, look for Canario to have an opportunity to flourish if he were to move up. I think Brennan Davis will be a stumbling block for Canario after this season, but I don't see any reason the Cubs couldn't find playing time for both of them, even with Happ and Morrell roaming the Ivy. Canario's walks have increased this season, and his .346 on-base percentage is nothing to shake a stick at. The batting average has come down a little since that move up to Double-A, but the power numbers have been outstanding since that call-up, hitting 19 home runs in 67 ball games. I wouldn't be surprised to see Canario in the Cubs lineup in September, especially with Davis just coming back maybe by then. This may be a prospect card to keep an eye on for the future. So that is going to wrap up our Cubs list. We're going to be moving on to the Chicago White Sox. If you have any players for this list that you would like to comment down below that I should need to check out, or anyone you'd like to hear an update on, or you think I missed somebody, please let me know. Again, I love to look into players. I love to hear y'all's thoughts on stuff, and we will be moving on to the White Sox one. So I hope you guys are ready for that next video whenever we send it out. Wait, that time it didn't work. What the? But in 2018, he suffered a season-ending